That's the opening line of the version of A Mighty Fortress Is Our God that many of us know. It's the way and the version many of us grew up singing. But it's not quite the version that Martin Luther wrote in 1529. And the differences tell us something about how hymns travel through time and how we sing those hymns shape what we believe. Well, stick around. That's coming up today on this Reformation Day episode. I'm Jared Ritchie. Today is Friday, October the 31st, and you're listening to the Friday Five from Musically Speaking. This hymn is, as we know, Luther's paraphrase of Psalm 46, and it has encouraged Christians for nearly 5 centuries. But there are actually 2 main differences between what Luther himself wrote and what many English-speaking churches sing today. The first of those, the translation of the text, and the second, the rhythm of the tune. Let's briefly look at both. Point number 1 is the text. Luther wrote the hymn in German, as we know, as Ein feste Burg ist unser Gott. In 1863, a Unitarian minister named Frederick Hedge from Boston translated it into English, and Hedge's version became common in many American hymnals, especially here in the United States. But his translation softened, I would argue, some of Luther's sharper imagery. Another English translation by Thomas Carlyle, I would argue, stays closer to the original German. Carlyle began his opening line of Luther's hymn with, "A safe stronghold our God is still." That line follows Luther's meaning more directly, since Ein feste Burg literally means a fortified fortress, a strong defense. Many Lutheran hymnals still use Carlyle's translation. Others editors combined the two into a composite, keeping Hedge's opening line, "A mighty fortress is our God," and then continuing with Carlyle's more faithful second line, "A trusty shield and weapon." So even the words we sing today are the result of interpretation and a blending, or you could say a morphing, over time. Point number 2, the rhythm. Luther's original melody was rhythmic and full of movement. It had a long, short quality to it that seems to really fit well with the theme of Psalm 46. The slower, what we would call isorhythmic version that many of us have come to know actually is sourced from Johann Sebastian Bach's Cantata 80, where he harmonized the melody for choir and organ. It was the last movement of the cantata. It is truly beautiful, but it was never meant for unaccompanied congregational singing. Without an organ or an orchestra to support it, that slower, evened-out version can get heavy and ploddy. The rhythmic version, on the other hand, has energy, and it's easier, I find, for congregations to sing together, especially if you don't have a large instrumental contingent supporting the singing. Point number 3, what this looks like in practice. This is my Geneva students, my 9th and 10th graders, sight reading through this. This translation and rhythmic tune is accessible. It's closer to Luther's meaning, I would argue. And if your church doesn't have a rhythmic or an ensemble, an organ, orchestra, this rhythmic version that you hear, it may be more suitable, more singable, more accessible for your people, and more faithful to what Luther wrote. So whether you sing this version or the more familiar one, do so in thankfulness for a wonderful Reformation tradition. I'll put a PDF link in the show notes if you want to check it out. That's going to have to do it for this week's episode. Thanks always for listening. I'll see you next time.